Well, good morning to you all. Tony Virtue speaking, Virtue and Partners with our regular monthly update. And what a difference a month makes. Starting domestically, clearly Labour had an emphatic victory. I think that's the only words that we can use. Graph shows just the enormity of that, and probably equally importantly, their control of the Senate with the Greens. So that could well be a 6-year gig from here. What does that mean? It means a level of certainty in the market. Those of you with larger superannuation balances, it does look like they will chip away above $3 million. In my work, I talk about those who've reached preservation will probably take the balances out above 3 million. Those of you who are younger, well, it's a first world problem. It's a good thing to have. We will find a solution. What is particularly vexing is taxing unrealised capital gains. Is at the thin end of the wedge for, dare I say, property at a later stage. The other thing is not indexed at the moment, but just as they've indexed the amount you can have in the retirement phase, we started at 1.6, we're now up to 2 million. They have the option, but not the obligation to do that. So expect some huffing and puffing, but we'll get through it. And very similar really to additional taxes. Your income goes above a certain threshold and that amount of money you can have in the retirement phase. Turning to friend Trump, well, it's been pretty excruciating, I think is the word, to watch this. We had Liberation Day, stocked literally, collapse is too strong a word, fell sharply over a 3 or 4 day period. There was quite a lot of margin loans in New York. There's a thing called the 10-year US bond rate, and it is the strictest of mistresses because that really determines the cost of capital, what you will pay on your interest payments. Suddenly, the 10-year bond rate went from 4.5 up towards 5%, which meant the US government would be paying a lot more money on their debt. Why was that the case? Well, the two largest holders of US 10-year bonds are the Chinese and the Japanese. They didn't really appreciate these tariffs, so they made it known to them over there, and there was this reversal, and you saw first up. The rest of the world broadly went back to this 10% tariff, 90 days to kind of do a few deals on the side. China was left on the outer. And then at the weekend in Geneva, they look like they're finding some kind of solution there. And so markets bounced back up again in a pretty contrived way. There are concerns that some people knew more than others about what was going on. Anyway, that's for another day. Long and the short was it just reflects again the need to have a stiff buddy constitution and just allow life to work itself out. I do speak in my notes about the history or the economics of this. And those of you with long memories, we go back to 1776, which was Adam Smith's seminal text on the wealth of nations. And he spoke about this invisible hand that would come in and mysteriously, for all of this chaos, if everybody acted in their own self-interest, there'd be some bumping and bruising, but eventually there would be an equilibrium where everybody did what they were best at and then bought from others what they were not so good at. And that is kind of the whole system of global trading. And that is exactly how this is paying out at the end of the day. So markets back where they started, look for innovation, look for improvements. That's the kind of investments we want to have rather than, you cannot imagine manufacturing Adidas shoes in Detroit with their labour costs go ticking away at this. Obviously, that's something that needs to be done in a lower cost country there. So a bit of a shock to the system, but it does look like it's settling now. Looking domestically, the 4 major banks came out with good enough earnings. Dividends staying where they are at the moment. It is 50% of the entire dividends paid in Australia, so it is significant for those of you needing this money to live off, particularly in retirement there. So all in all, things seem to be in a reasonable shape. The RBA, now we're down to 8 a year, not 11 meetings. So next Tuesday, almost 100% likelihood of a 25% drop in interest rates, and possibly a natural balancing rate of 3.25 over the next 12 months. The corollary to that is that we do have full employment in Australia, defined by 5% unemployment figures. We're down to 4.1 at the moment. So, that may put pressure on wages. If that's the case, then it's less likely then to drop interest rates or certainly as quickly as might be the case. And that's a dual-edged sword. So it's much more healthy to drop rates in an orderly way, slowly. Drop rates too quickly, it's a sign to the market there may be a recession coming. As you probably expect, property is bouncing strongly now. We're seeing these auctions pick up here in Sydney and also particularly in Melbourne now. Combination of some level of certainty in the government. There'll be 110,000 people eligible for 5% deposits and no mortgage insurance from 1 January. That will push the bottom end of the market. And what you'd expect from there is quite a kick along with rates falling. So, look, that's enough for today. Obviously, we're coming into the end of the financial year before we know it. So, get your superannuation contributions in. Once it's in, they can't take it out again, I guess. So go hard while you can. Stay fit and healthy. I'll be travelling soon. Hopefully, see a lot of you overseas, which I'm very much looking forward to. So, cheerio for now. Tony Virtue, when experience pays.